the Canadian government is working with the province of Manitoba to stop the spread of aquatic invasive species like zebra mussels. Zebra mussels can do a lot of damage to a lake's ecosystem. It can clog and damage water intake systems and Manitoba hydro infrastructure. That's why the feds partnered with the province to conduct roadside inspections on boats, kayaks, and trailers moving through Manitoba this summer. Joining us now is Aquatic Invasive Species Regional Coordinator with Fisheries and Oceans Canada, Brendan Spearin. Good morning, Brendan.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, can you remind us what are invasive aquatic species and which ones we want to protect our lakes and rivers from and why they cause so many problems?
That's a great question. So aquatic invasive species are invasive species that live in water, as the name suggests, and in a lot of cases, these species are coming from quite far away. So zebra and quagga mussels originally came from Europe, and they made their way into the Great Lakes in the 1980s. And then from there, they actually hitched rides on watercraft and traveled throughout North America. So we're kind of at the western leading edge of the impacts of zebra mussels right now in Manitoba. And so Lake Winnipeg, Lake Manitoba are currently considered invaded. And then from there, they're slowly going to spread following the flow of water. But we also know that watercraft can move these species around. So whether it's zebra or quagga mussels, aquatic invasive plants like Eurasian milfoil, all these species can really easily hitch a ride on your boat, in your live well, on your prop, on your trailer, and then from there find new environments to call home. And as I'm sure you know, Manitoba has over 100,000 lakes, and so there's plenty of places we need to protect still.
And it doesn't take a lot either, right, to get them started in a different lake altogether?
That's right, yeah. So a lot of our aquatic invasive plants actually spread by fragmentation. So you just need a little piece breaking off from a larger piece. So when you pull your trailer out of the water with your boat on top of it, it can accumulate those plants, and then those plants will actually just spread and call home next time they hit water. And zebra mussel and quagga mussels, they actually have a microscopic life stage called a veliger. So that little critter is impossible to see with your naked eye, and they can reproduce very quickly, get taken up in your live wells, then pushed into other water bodies, and then again the process of invasion starts over.
And once they have invaded a lake, what do they do to that lake? What are the long-term effects?
Yeah, so it definitely depends on the species, but for our public enemy number one here, zebra and quagga mussels, their biggest impacts are how they impact the food web. So they start taking nutrients and things out of the water column into themselves, that then deprive that food from other fish, or our native flora and fauna. Our native fish get impacted. They find less food, which means they grow slower and they grow less big. So we've got lots of science that's been done that shows the impact of these species have on fish. And that's a big reason why we're so interested in preventing their spread, is because we want to protect the resource, right? And they also have economic and social impacts too. If you walked on Lake Winnipeg recently, you've probably stepped on a zebra mussel shell. They smell terrible. They are very sharp, and that is something that we know people don't want to see in their water bodies. So preventing their spread also helps resource users enjoy the water. And so it's not just about fish. It's also about how we actually interact with our water in Manitoba.
Okay, so tell us about these roadside inspections this summer and what you found.
Yeah, so we partnered with the province of Manitoba, so we couldn't do this alone. We had provincial conservation officers, provincial park patrol officers coming out to help our federal fishery officers, as well as our invasive species team. And so we put up a bunch of signs on both sides of the highway and direct people who are traveling with boats into our inspection station. And from there, our joint federal provincial team does a once-over of the watercraft. So we're looking for clean, drain, dry. So clean means your watercraft is free of things like soil and dirt and aquatic plants and invasive species. And then drain means all your drain plugs are pulled from your watercraft. That's the law in most of Canada now. Whether you're traveling with your live wells empty or not, we want to make sure those plugs are pulled, because that helps all of the air circulating your boat and helps it get to our last stage, which is dried.
Okay.
So dry is really important because aquatic species love water. By removing the water, we can remove the risk.